welcome all of you to the regularly scheduled Town Council meeting for the town of Edenton for the month of June. We have agendas in the back of the room if you'd like to follow along with us. I'm going to ask you to stand here in a moment as we normally do for the pledge. Prior to that, though, I would just like to observe or ask you to join with me in observing a moment of silence for the tragedy that occurred in Orlando early Sunday morning, knowing that thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families, and we just want to acknowledge that before we get started. So if you would please stand, and we'll go into the pledge after that, and then Councilman Stallings will offer an invocation. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Father, we thank you for all the blessings of life that you have so freely bestowed upon us. We thank you for this beautiful day and the blessings that to be here tonight with citizens who deeply care about our town. And Lord, we especially ask you to bless and protect our mayor. Protect him as he begins his journey through the incredible but often daunting maze of medical tests and treatments. And bless him with the gifts he uses every day to lead our community. The gifts of confidence, wisdom, courage, patience, wit, laughter, and love, because these gifts from you will make the mayor's journey a little easier. And please, Lord, bless the mayor's team. Watch over Peggy Ann, Lisa, and Harris, and bless them with the strength and courage that they will need for our journey. We pray that you would be with each one of us here tonight, and everything that's said and done here tonight will be pleasing in your sight. We ask all these blessings and more, and thank you, Lord, for hearing and answering prayer. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Wow, Jimmy. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. And while we're on the subject, if I might indulge you for a couple of minutes, I want to thank everyone both here at the table with me who had reached out, and also the many friends and acquaintances throughout the community that have reached out to me and my wife once we discovered we had this cancer issue. I will say to you that the surgery was very, very successful. I start my quest on what type of post-surgical treatment I'll be involved with tomorrow, visiting 2 oncology departments, one in Greenville and one at Duke and Durham. So we'll have 2 opinions once we get started. So hopefully that'll get underway soon and we can put this matter to rest. But special thanks to all of you for your prayers and concerns. All right. We're now at the point where we would approve our minutes from a special meeting of April 25th. The chair would entertain a motion to that effect.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions or comments, corrections, additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Very good. We have 2 public hearings scheduled tonight, neither of which involve action by you all as a council, but we do need to hold the meetings nonetheless. And Anne Marie, if you would please introduce each one of these items, and we'll call for the public to comment when you're done.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. The first public hearing is on the proposed 2016-17 budget, which is scheduled to take effect on July 1. The council will hear public comment tonight and continue to hear input up until the special meeting of June 27th, when the actual budget ordinance will be considered, excuse me, for adoption. A copy of the proposed budget and the budget message that I wrote is posted on the town's webpage. It's also on Facebook and Twitter, and it is available for review at Town Hall. The budget as proposed recommends holding the tax rate as is, no increase in the tax rate, nor, as my friend Wendell said earlier today, no decrease in the tax rate. The Finance Committee met last week and reviewed the budget. They raised many issues pertaining to the budget and asked for some follow-up information, which staff is working on. There were a lot of questions about our minimum housing code program and our redevelopment, the 2 redevelopment zones that have been adopted, and a sense that staff needs to really invigorate and get those plans implemented. So we're preparing a report for you on what has been done and what will be done in the short term and in the long term. The Finance Committee also discussed water and sewer impact fees and asked that we conduct a survey of what the fees are in surrounding municipalities and counties in the region, and then also to look and see statewide if there are other models of how the fees are structured that might be appropriate for us. Also, we were asked to look at alternatives or improvements that could be made to help reduce the odor from the main sewer lift station, which we can see and sometimes unfortunately detect its presence when we leave this room. It's down in the park, and it's a shame that that odor emanates when we're looking and enjoying such beauty in the park and the waterfront. So we're going to look and see what options exist for that. We were also asked to consider that just because a vehicle has high mileage doesn't necessarily mean that that is an indication that the vehicle needs to be replaced. We also were asked to remove the word tag from our vehicle tax. That we have presently have a $5 vehicle tax on every vehicle, and in the past it was called a vehicle tag tax because an actual vehicle tag and then an actual sticker was given, and now it's just a tax. So we're working with the Chowan County Tax Office as well as with North Carolina Division of Motor Vehicles to make sure we can eliminate that from the bills that the vehicle owners receive when they have to renew registration. And then finally, we reviewed the street paving. We were asked to provide a list of the paving that was done in 2012, 2013, and also to give an update on the priority list of what streets will be paved in the coming fiscal year. In terms of the electric fund, we noted no changes recommended to the current rate structure based on the rate study that you had done several months ago after the sale of assets from the power agency. And then also water and sewer fund, continuing on your path. You have a 10-year plan to raise rates, and this will be, I believe, the 6th year of raising the rates. And the good news, the airport fund, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on in the meeting, but based on a proposal for rent and lease of office space at the airport, there'll be revenue generated that will come to the airport that will eliminate the need for the town's general fund to transfer funds from the general fund to the airport fund. So we're very pleased about that. That cover the meeting. Okay, so Mayor, that's a summary of the work that the Finance Committee has done, and I'm happy to hear comments and encourage people to continue to review the budget and the budget message, and contact us if there are questions.
Thank you. And the date for our vote to implement is what?
I believe it's June 27th, the fourth Monday of June.
All right. Very good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now open a public hearing relative to the subject of the next fiscal year's budget as has been presented on our various forms of media. And you heard a summary of recommended concerns, changes, suggestions, and so forth that were raised by members of the town council. And now we'd like to hear from you all as to what your thoughts might be, those of you who've had a chance to review the budget. And so the floor is now open. In this process, we only ask that you take the podium and identify yourself, and we'll be happy to hear whatever it is you have to say. So the floor is yours. Okay, public hearing relative to the text of the next fiscal year budget 16-17 is now closed, and no action is required this evening. We will take that action at our next meeting, the end of this month. So, next item, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. The next item is another public hearing, and this is on the FY 2014/16 Community Development Block Grant Program. The town of Edenton recently submitted an application, it's called a pre-application, to the North Carolina Main Street Program, and the Main Street Program has received CDBG funds from the North Carolina Department of Commerce that can be used, can be applied for by Main Street communities to help pay for redevelopment of vacant structures that will create jobs. And when we heard about this opportunity, we immediately thought of the Hotel Hinton, and we worked with the developer, Saga, submitted a pre-application. I think council will remember we submitted a pre-app back in February. We were not funded, but we received a call in May indicating that another round of funds has been available, and our application was in the line and is scheduled to be considered by the North Carolina Rural Infrastructure Authority at their June meeting, which I think is next Thursday. If we are approved, that grant would provide $500,000 with a whole host of contingencies, performance agreements, requirements that the developer create and maintain a certain number of jobs, and they're indicating that they will create 69 jobs, full-time jobs. So that is the project that we're looking at for this grant. This public hearing is required for the town to solicit input and feedback from residents about community development projects in general. The handout that we gave to the council gave a very detailed description of the block grant program. I won't spend a lot of time reviewing all of the information, but it basically says that the public hearing is to seek input from citizens and give them an opportunity to express their views concerning community development needs and priorities, and that the funding comes from the federal government through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It lists two separate funds that that North Carolina uses. This particular grant that we're seeking is through the Economic Development Fund that provides funding for infrastructure designed to benefit low to moderate income persons through job creation. And Mayor, I have with me tonight Jennifer Harris, our Executive Director from the Main Street Program Destination Downtown, and she has been assisting with the grant application. And I also would like to recognize Larry Lombardi, the new Executive Director of the Edenton Show on Partnership, and he has offered his assistance with the project as well.
Very good. Welcome, Larry. Nice to have you aboard. Look forward to working with you. Only the federal government could require you to have 2 public hearings on the same subject. So this is the first one. And as Anne-Marie said, this is for your inquiries about the general purpose, function, anything you might like to know about CDBG grants. And the next public hearing that we have, when we're hopefully in line to get the money for the hotel project, will be specific to that project. So if anyone has questions or comments about CDBG, again, please take the podium and state your name. We'd be happy to hear from you. Okay, hearing no comment there, we'll close that public hearing as well. And that completes our 2 required public hearings for this evening. Moving to our next item, our council several years ago adopted a policy whereby we asked those organizations in the community that receive public funds from the town council through its annual budget to assist in their operations. And in most cases it has to do with economic development and or tourism development in the community. We ask them to come and give us a summary of how the past year went for them and what they might be looking forward to in the next year. And tonight we're pleased to have with us Wynn Dale, who's the Executive Director of the Edenton Chamber of Commerce. And Wynn's going to present to us his annual report. Wynn, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you. He's gone to sleep in, we'll wake it up.
Okay. Sam's got it. Sam's back.
Okay, while that's warming up, I just want to say to the mayor and to the town council and to the councilwoman, town manager Anne-Marie Knight, and thank y'all very much for inviting me here tonight as we come and talk again about the Chamber of Commerce in our previous year and talk about the state of Edenton Chamber of Commerce. You hear the state of the union, state of the states. This is going to be the state of the chamber tonight. First of all, the chamber's been very busy. We're involved in a lot of different things, and you're going to see that in just a couple of minutes. But first of all, I just wanted to give you a little overview. And I know you've seen this before, but I think it's important to know the backgrounds and the history of the chamber. The chamber was established back in the 1920s, so we're almost 100 years old. We're a 501c6 nonprofit organization, which we're not a 501c3 like some of those that can, take donations and they're tax deductible. But the main difference in that is that we can lobby a little bit and 501c3s cannot. One full-time employee, which is myself, and then we have a part-time employee that we share with the other 2 agencies that's located in our building on the backside here, which is the Chowan County Tourism Development Authority and the Edenton Partnership. We've got about 190 members made up of small businesses, industries, and individuals. We're a countywide organization. We don't focus just on the town, but we do focus on the county, and we have several members throughout the county. And we're funded by membership, fundraisers, and the town of Edenton, and we're very thankful for the contribution that the town of Edenton makes to us each year. And I know last year we talked a little bit about our mission statement, and it was a little convoluted and it was a little complicated. And over the past year, one of the things the chamber has done is we went through and we updated our bylaws. And one of the things we updated in our bylaws was the mission statement. So the new mission statement is a little more simpler. It says the mission of the Edenton Chamber of Commerce is to strengthen member businesses, stimulate local prosperity, and contribute to the growth and stability of the community. And of course, a lot of that includes the quality of life of the community. These are the different partnerships that we have throughout the community and that who we work with on different things and activities, events, programming throughout the year. Of course, the town of Edenton is a big partner. The Edenton Young Professionals, Chowan County Tourism Development Authority, who I mentioned with Nancy Nichols, is in our office. The Edenton Partnership with Larry Lombardi, which is in our office. We all work together very closely. Of course, Destination Downtown Edenton and Jennifer Harris, the Edenton School System, College of the Albemarle, Chowan County Rec Department, of course, Chowan County, Historic Edenton State Historic Site, Mr. Bob Hopkins, North Carolina East Alliance out of Greenville, Chambers of the Northeast, which is a group of the chamber directors throughout northeastern North Carolina, North Carolina Workforce Development, the Albemarle Commission, and then many local civic organizations and groups. So these are the ones that we work with, and then when we work with them, of course, we have to have some leadership to guide us, and this is the leadership for this year. The 2016 chamber leadership is Lisa Turner of Branch Banking and Trust, who's our president. Brian Harville is our president-elect. Internal Vice President Donna Winborn, and then External Vice President is Tracy Minkowski. And then our board is made up of 8 elected members, 2 appointed members, and we have 8 ex officio members who serve on our board. So right now we have a total of 16 members. We could have 18, but we only have 16 right now. We don't have any appointed members. That's left up to the discretion of the president. So you can see what it takes for leadership. Governance, task force, the committee, the advocacy, the budget, minutes, strategy, all that is worked into the chamber programming each year. These are some of the events and the involvement that we go through each year. And this is kind of in a sequence of order from January through December. But the first thing that we usually have each year is the annual awards banquet. And that's the one that we'll give the volunteer of the year, the business person of the year, and we've just added the organization of the year. And then also tourism gives away their tourism award, and there could be other different awards throughout the year that's added to that, so we just play that by ear. That's always a great event. Touch a Truck Day, which is formerly known as Vehicle Day, we hold that at White Oak Elementary School each year. It's a great event for the kids to come out and actually see police cars. The Violent Helicopter usually flies in, which is a big event. Cycle NC events, when Cycle NC is in town, we work closely with tourism and the other local agencies to make sure everything goes well for that group. As you know, we just had 1,400 cyclists come in this past April, which was a big deal and took up a lot of time in planning from last year up to this year. Our annual Chamber Golf Tournament is usually held in May. Edenton Music and Water Festival is held the 1st of June, which we just finished. The Chamber Member and Volunteer Appreciation Cookout, that's a new event. It used to be the Chamber Member Appreciation. This year we've partnered with Tourism and Nancy, and we're going to recognize all the volunteers that help us with the events like Cycle NC and the Water Festival and all the other events where we require so many volunteers to make those things successful. Chamber Night at the Steamers, which has been an ongoing event, that'll go on again this year. Shrimp by the Bay is in August. The Historic Edenton Ghost Walk is going into its 4th year. We've raised so far over $7,000 for organizations at the high school. And of course the famous Edenton Christmas Parade is held every year, same weekend as the Candlelight Tour. The other items that we're involved in, of course, are grand openings and ribbon cuttings. We have business after hour events, specific training offering through COA and Elizabeth City State University, and one that's going on right now is actually being offered in Gates County as a Microsoft office, and we're rotating locations between Gates, Edenton, and Hertford or Clemens County to try to maximize the attendance in these areas. Business recruitment, we work very closely with the partnership and Larry on business recruitment, business retention, and also with Destination Downtown when it involves the downtown business. And then, of course, just mentioned the annual Chamber Member Volunteer Appreciation Cookout. The Chamber Scholarship we award each year to a graduating senior from Johnny Holmes High School. We're actually increasing that from 500 to 1,000 in 2017, so we'll offer 2 scholarships at 500 apiece. And then we hold our Board of Director elections in October of each year. So it's a busy year. Volunteer power. This is what keeps this community rolling. It's what keeps the chamber rolling. Obviously, with the organizations we have Jennifer, myself, Nancy, Larry, we're the only ones that are in charge of it. We don't have a paid staff that do this, so we help organize it, and then we've got to get volunteers to come in and help us pull it off. And without their help, we wouldn't be able to do anything that goes on in this community. We want to thank them, so I'd just like to make sure you know that all of y'all are invited to our Member Appreciation and Community Volunteer Cookout. It's June the 23rd on the courthouse green, so please come and attend if you can. These are some of the pictures excuse me, from this past year. Top left is Shrimp by the Bay. You can see top right and bottom left are some ribbon cuttings that we held. The banquet is normally held at the country club. There's the Violent Helicopter Landing for Vehicle Day. That's the Ghost Walk. That's a picture that we used for that. You can see the condition that the Iredell Hides was in before it was restored. The Cupola Hides, sorry Bob. Yeah, my bad. I knew that was the Cupola Hides. That's what I see out my window every day, okay? Gay Chatham was one of our tour guides that year, and then, of course, there's the mayor at the Garden Buffet ribbon cutting last year. All right, this that you see right here, this is a Cycle NC crowd. You imagine 1,400 cyclists lined up by the Barker House waiting to get food. They stretched all the way back to Waterman's and then down Water Street. That's how many people they had. So, I mean, that was a huge weekend event with that many cyclists in town. This is an overhead view of the tent city, so to speak, on Queen Anne Park back here. Cycle NC brought their drone and shot that picture. And then there's some other people that had drones that shot pictures of this too, but this is the one that I like the most. It's pretty cool. So, you know, they say that they didn't have any room, but you know, you could actually put another tent right here and there. So, you know, there's some room back there. So we could have got more campers and more cyclists in time. So. Another thing that we did this year that was new was the Biggest Loser Community Challenge. We had teams that participated in that. That ran February 29th through about the beginning of May. We were able to participate and offer a disaster resiliency workshop here in Chowan County through the Rural Center. And I want to thank Steve Biggs for giving us a heads up and Anne Marie for helping us get the application in process, and also helped earn us an additional $5,000 from the Rural Center for helping put this on. But it was a very successful event. We had about 50 attendees from throughout the region. We had some as far away as Lumberton, and we had, of course, attendees from right here in Chowan County that were with us, but that was a very successful event. We had very good speakers come in. And then, of course, the Edenton Music and Water Festival that we just finished up, another big undertaking that was very successful. We made it to the very end of Saturday and got rained out, and we had one more group that played, and we had to move them to Swain. But by that time, you know, we lost power for a little while, and then when the power came back up, there were 30 people in the auditorium. So we had a personal concert by this group, this magnificent Blue Aces Air Force Band. So wish you could have seen that, but it was a great weekend. And of course, our friends the Steamers are back in town. They're currently doing well. They think they struggled a little bit. They won their first game, then lost several, then had several rain delays and everything, but they're kind of got back in the groove a little bit. They're 6-5, and they'll be back home. The mayor was asking them to be back home tomorrow, Mayor, Wednesday night. They're away Thursday, and they're home again Friday and Saturday. So we encourage you to go out there and check the Steamers out. If you haven't been to a game this year, you're in for a treat. The events that are coming, of course, August Shrimp by the Bay. That's one of our big fundraisers that we hold each year. That'll be at the Wharf Landing Pier. Tickets are $35, and you can pick those up soon. We're working on sponsorships for that. And then, of course, as we get past August and get back to school, we start thinking about the holidays a little more. We'll have a kickoff meeting here in the council chambers, and we'll talk with the different businesses downtown and throughout the county and talk about different things we're doing to help promote their business and help them maximize their sales during the season. You know, that's one of the things that we do during that time of year. We try to do this as much as we can throughout the season, but we do really have a big push in the holiday season to shop local promotion or shop Chowan, shop small. So that's one thing that we'll get into again as we reach into the holiday season. Last year, this was a Christmas parade. The theme was Christmas Around the World. We just had an outstanding turnout for that. We've moved the start time back here the last couple of years ago to accommodate Wreaths Over America, whose ceremony is a nationwide ceremony that's held at the cemetery to honor the fallen soldiers with wreaths. So we backed it up. We started at 10 a.m. This was last year's Christmas Around the World, and believe it or not, we already have a Christmas parade theme this year. And it's due to the work of a group from the library who has put this together. It's going to be a Dickens December. And they're doing all kinds of different things to help enhance things in December. So we actually chose this thing in February. They had it all set up. There's a committee consisting of several organizations throughout the community. There's going to be various events and opportunities throughout the Christmas season to keep excitement up. It's going to involve businesses, homes, organizations, individuals from downtown as well as in the county to incorporate the Dickens theme. And then we're targeting it before the Candlelight Tour Parade weekend, but also, after that, typically things tend to die off. There's not many activities between the second weekend and Christmas, so we're trying to do some filler things in there afterwards too. And one of the things that's been mentioned is a 5K run sometime during that holiday week, and some other things going on by the Arts Council of Silhouette Artists and some other things. So it's going to be an exciting time. That excitement will build more as we get closer, and you'll hear more about it then, but just wanted to kind of give you a sneak preview of that. So anyway, to the Mayor, Town Council, and Town Manager, Anne Marie, each and every town employee, department head, and department, and a lot of them are here tonight, the Chief of Police, our Chief, William Davison, Sam and planning, and everybody else. They just do a wonderful job, help us everything that we need, they can provide for us. All we got to do is make a phone call. And we appreciate that very much, because without them helping us, we couldn't do it. They're just like one of our volunteers, even though they're paid. Anne Marie will just do anything she can, bend over backwards to do things for us if she can do it. And the same thing with these guys. If they can help us out, they'll help us. So I want to say thank you very much for that support. And again, thank you for the donations that you make, or the contribution that you make to the Chamber of Commerce each year. And I'll be glad to answer any questions or entertain any comments you might have about the Chamber or anything that we do each year.
Thank you, Wynn. Great job. Council members, you got any questions or comments for Wynn?
I'd like to just make an offhand comment. When you do a great job, a real asset to our community, the membership that you have, the enthusiasm of downtown, I think is fantastic. I commend you, and I commend the entire organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to them.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Other comments? Well done. Thank you, sir. And we look forward to your upcoming events.
All right.
As always. Going back to our agenda, we're now at the point of where we're going to hear from our committees. We'll hear from 3 of them tonight, beginning with administrative, and that's chaired by Councilman Biggs. Please, sir.
Mayor, after committee meeting, administrative committee recommends that the council authorize the health insurance plan with First Carolina Care Insurance Company as presented. Y'all remember at the committee meeting, we had the guys come in and give us a pretty detailed plan on what our insurance could be and what pricing could be. And I mean, as all of you know, insurance is just unfortunately skyrocketing, and they put together what we think is a really good plan for the money. So we recommend that council authorize that, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the health insurance plan with First Carolina Care as was presented by our consultant / broker. Any further questions or comments on the motion?
I'd just like to comment that I think that our consultants did a very good job of examining all of that and looking at all the outlets for it, and under the circumstances, I think they did a very good job.
I totally agree on that, Councilor Stanley.
It's hard to imagine, well, I'll just speak for myself, trying to figure out what the best plan would be in an environment like the insurance industry's living in right now. And that was a great move y'all made in hiring that group to come and help us in that capacity. I agree with you. They do a great job helping us offer the most for the least, but the challenge is annual, So we'll be facing it again next year, I'm sure. Any other questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, very good, thank you.
And also, the administrative committee recommends that the town do what is proper and donate the liens that belong to this lighthouse that we all enjoy looking at to the North Carolina Department of Cultural Resources. And, you know, we've got Bob Hopkins here tonight, who kind of oversees that. And Bob, we certainly appreciate what y'all do to keep that looking as nice as it does, along with all the other things that y'all do with historic properties.
Thank you.
You got something you'd like to say? Help
I'd just
yourself,
like to
please.
say, if you all approve this, that this, on behalf of the state of North Carolina, the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, and I'm the manager of State Historic Sites Edenton, for ourselves, we'd like to thank you for this kind donation. We'll be placing it on exhibit at the visitor center until or unless it's installed into the lighthouse. And I say that because it's going to need a little bit of restoration before it's installed in the lighthouse. And unless another lens comes up that's in better condition, we'll either keep this one on exhibit at the visitor center and then put the new one in, or put this one into the lighthouse. So, thank you.
So I'll put that in the form of a motion, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. Got questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving now to our next committee to report this evening is utilities, and that's chaired by Councilman Quinn, please, sir.
Thank you. The town in recent time has been working with electricities in hopes of enticing a few of our industries to commit to load management. By adjusting their rate, we failed to make an adjustment following the sale of assets to Duke Progress. And we've asked Booth and Associates, the firm that performed the rate, as I recall, they're the ones that performed the rate analysis, to look at the load management rider, and they've recommended that the rider credit be increased from $10 per kilowatt hour to $15 per kilowatt hour. I think our director, Glenn Anderson, has looked at that. I don't know if, I don't think, is Glenn here tonight?
He actually is at the generating plant because of the heat.
Okay.
He was told by
Well, that's where he should
electricities
be.
to run the generators tonight, so we
Okay.
excused him for, in the system-wide, so.
Anyway, I put that in the form of a motion that we approve that amendment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the electric rate rider load. Questions, comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right. We'll move forward with that as well. Thank you, sir. Finally, on the committee side this evening, Finance, chaired by Councilman Dixon, please.
We have one thing on tonight other than the budget that was already on, and that's the budget amendment as presented, which deals with the $13,000 proceeds for the police car. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
A second.
Okay, motion and a bevy of seconds. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right. Thank you, sir. Moving now to new business, Anne Marie, would you give us a brief introduction to the topic of the office space at the airport terminal and the lease agreement everyone's worked out?
I will, Mayor, and hopefully if I need some help or leave something out, Councilman Biggs serves as your liaison to the Airport Commission, and also with us tonight is Chuck Schmealer, who is the Vice Chairman of the Airport Commission and was part of the negotiating team. But as you all know, as the council knows, we have for the last 20 years leased space at the airport terminal building to North Carolina Division of Highways, the Division 1 offices. And that lease expired, and we were able to enter into negotiations with DOT. And what is being proposed, and if you all approve this tonight, it will have to be formally approved by the North Carolina Council of State. The Council of State has to approve any lease or sale of property by the state of North Carolina. But the proposal is to lease the space at the terminal building for $35,915 per year, in addition to also lease approximately 3,000 square feet of land where a new larger modular unit, and you know there already is a modular unit there, and DOT uses that primarily as a training room. It's a big conference area, and I think there's 1 or 2 offices in that unit, but they're proposing to replace that with a larger unit and push it back a little bit, so we will receive annual lease for that ground lease for that land. DOT will pay for the rent on the actual building, but the land lease will generate another $8,510 per year for the airport. So for a total of $44,425 a year. And at the end of each year, the lease price will increase by 3%. This lease is, the term is for 5 years with 2 additional 5-year renewals. Our previous lease was a 20-year lease. We wanted another 20-year lease, but the state will not approve 20-year leases. The max now, and I guess maybe that changed some time ago, is 15 years. In addition, the state will also reimburse the town for back rent owed for 1,115 square feet of office space that was not invoiced nor paid, and that back rent totals $69,501. So if the Council of State approves the lease, one of the approvals in the lease is a payment, a check to the town for that back rent. In addition, the town or the airport will have to agree to do the following. Replace the existing deteriorated canopy, the canopy over the walkway into the terminal building. It has outlived its useful life and needs to be replaced. There are also 3 HVAC units that need to be replaced. And also we need to repair or replace the concrete walkway to the main terminal entrance. It's concrete and it has cracked and settled, and it looks like a trip hazard, especially for women wearing high heels. So if we can eliminate that hazard through the contractor that we use for trip hazards, we will. But if we have to replace it, we're hoping that Public Works, with their skills, can help us replace the walkway. In addition, there are several ceiling tiles that have stained over the years due to problems with previous air conditioning units that have been replaced, so we need to replace those ceiling tiles. And also the DOT wanted improved exterior lighting for when the office staff leaves at night during the winter when it's dark at 5 o'clock. But I think Harry's already made those adjustments, so we may not have to incur that expense. In my report to you, I reported that we have an estimate for the new canopy of $4,300. The 3 HVAC units, we're waiting on a final quotes, but we estimate that will cost about $15,000. And then we would do the other work as noted. Thanks to the proceeds from the back rent, we will be able to make the investment into the facilities that DOT is asking for. Did I miss anything, Chuck, or Councilman?
I don't know.
So Mayor, if the council has any questions, we're happy to answer, but we hope that you'll vote to approve the lease agreement, and then we'll hope that the council of state will do the same. I believe it's on the agenda for, it's a different date because of the holiday. I think it's like July 12th.
Okay, very good. Steve, anything you'd like to add to management report on that?
Well, just as Anne Marie stated, they've been there for 20 years now. As of this past December, I think is when the contract was. And yeah, they fixed the building up because, as y'all all remember, it was in terrible shape, and have had the luxury of not paying rent for 20 years. And for 20 years, we've had to hear from our auditor about putting money in the airport. So hopefully we can do away with the building looking bad, which is, it's starting to show its age again. We got to spend a little money on it, but we can do away with the auditor getting on us also about putting money in it. But I certainly want to thank the committee that worked on this because, again, it will be a lot of money coming into the airport. And as y'all know, there's not as many people flying as there once were private aircraft, and fuel sales are down, and hopefully with some money that we'll be getting over the next couple of 3 years, we can put in a new fuel system out there, and that'll improve that some. But yeah, this is really good for the town. It was kind of tough for us not to say anything up through December the 15th, wasn't it, Chuck? Because that was the date. If we said anything, there was a possibility they could have got it for free for a little while longer if they had thought about it. So anyhow, we're glad that it's gone the way it's gone. And recommend approval, and I'll put it in the form of a motion whenever you're ready.
All right, we'll take that right now. Second. All right, motion and a second to that effect. Chuck, anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
No, other than we came within just a hair of what our target was initially, trying to get the rent. I mean, we were getting $18,000 a year because they leased some additional space that was not in the original space lease. Right. This is 3 times that.
Wonderful. Are you available for consultation on other leases? All right, great job. I agree with Councilman Biggs and Anne Marie and everyone else. Maybe we won't get that right on this year. Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept and push forward the newly negotiated lease agreement with NCDOT. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, no? All right, great job. Council members, anything timely and important from your perspective you'd like to share with your colleagues this evening?
Hey, I got a couple of things real quick. Anne Marie, on our water deal that we were having some problem with, remind me if I'm correct in the lettering I'm using here, THMs, is that correct?
TTHMs.
TTHMs, okay. How are we doing with that now?
We, I last reported to you, I think about a month ago, that we had written, and we met with the state, and we wrote a letter and asked them, we had two paths to go forward. One was a short-term solution that was going to cost $150,000, but wasn't going to get rid of the problem totally. And then when the bond, the NC Connect bond money came about, the thought was, what if we were to apply for grant money and receive funding to make permanent improvements to the system? And so we asked the state, would they give us time, because it will take a little bit of time to apply for the grants and then do the engineering, to go down that path? Or did they want us to go immediately down the path of making what we considered the temporary changes. I have been advised verbally and also by email that a letter is forthcoming that they will support are going after a long-term solution. So every day when that mail comes, I'm running to the inbox to see if the formal letter has arrived. And once we get that, our plan is, we'll come back, we'll brief the council on it, and we'll set some timetables to go forward with the permanent solution.
Okay. And any updates on MSA?
SMA.
SMA, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Too many letters.
I know.
A, B, C, D, whatever.
SMA, Standard Medical Acceptance, the company that is to move from New York and lease the newly completed office space above Town Hall. Since my last, I guess, report in the management report, maybe about a month ago, the company had hired 2 outside technology experts to evaluate the software and the patent and make sure that it could do what it said it could do. And then also they had lined up a beta test of a hospital to test the software. I touched base with them about 2 weeks ago, and the outside review was still in process. It had not yet been completed, and I meant to touch base with them last week because I figured someone was going to ask for an update, and I didn't have a chance to do that. So I will check in and give you a report.
And the reason I'm asking, because I'm going through a couple of grants right now, and I know you were just talking about CDBG grants. There's going to come a time that they're going to come knocking if those jobs aren't created and want us to give that money back. And the grant came to us. And, I would hope that somehow if that's not going to happen, that we could possibly find another company to put in there rather quickly, just so. And even though they agree to it and they know they've got to pay us the money back, the money's got to come from us to start with, and I would hope that we can.
Yes, we're looking at Plan B, but we're certainly hoping and that Plan A is still going to work. But you're exactly right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good questions. Anyone else? All right, I'll open the floor again. This is your opportunity at this meeting tonight. If any of you present have anything you'd like to share with the town council, we would ask that you take the podium and let us hear from you. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Gary Swanner. Just wanted to share an opinion in reference to the park here, your ongoing thoughts and directions of the park, the use of the Conger building over there. I think it's your vision to have water sports available here to enhance the waterfront, being canoeing, kayaking, whatnot, and using the park and structures for that. You've considered selling the building, using the building for private enterprise. It looked like to me that it would be in the best interest of the community to use that building for whatever endeavor that you're trying to put forth on here, the water sports type stuff. It seems to me that we need to repurpose that building to use for that purpose. Maybe have some office space in there if you need it. Maybe have a room with a kind of historical area in it where we can highlight the history of the waterfront, and then use the rest of the building for storage or whatever you need for that type of material. I think you've gotten 2 proposals on buildings or structures for that use. One being 2 structures, which would take 2 areas of the footprint of the open park, and then another structure, single structure, a little bit larger, again taking out the open footprint of the park. I would think that you could use that building for that purpose, and if you need to add to, it could be done on the north end or the south end of that building, keeping it to the side of the open footprint of the park, so that we can continue to have park-related activities. The Water and Music Festival, July 4th, and all the other festivities that go into the park. But if you let the building go into private enterprise and don't use it, you're going to be building other structures that's going to eliminate part of the open concept of the park. And I think we need the open concept of the park to stay there. We don't have much, and if we get rid of more of it, it's going to be split up with buildings on it, and it's just not going to be as effective. You know, growing up here in Edenton, as a young boy, I used to ride the bicycle down the waterfront. I remember the old warehouse that was over on the other part by the Hayes Bridge. Come down here, I used to watch them load logs on barges down right here in this area here. The old fish houses and used to be out there. Congress building, the vertical storage tanks. It used to all be business entities. Somebody had a vision years ago to reclaim the waterfront for the citizens of Edenton and Troy County. And that vision was started, and we got to I'd say, the apex of that vision, where we had a nice open waterfront. The park was built. You could come down and sit in the picnic table under the tree, have a lunch, and view the beautiful bay as it was. But what has happened over the years, you come down and sit at the table now, you see a bulkhead. You see other people's boats. I know tourism is big, but the open concept of the park and the waterfront is starting to slip away. We now have the lighthouse here. Now, I'm not against tourism, but you can see that open concept, that draw that we wanted to bring citizens here, is slipping away from us. So it would behoove you to try to do all you can to keep what we already have there, use it to the best ability that you can, and let's keep some type of open concept here in the park. We showed the picture of the campers here, the bikers, things like that. It takes space. Open space on the waterfront is a premium. So let's work to go keep that in context. Let's keep that vision alive and not see it closed up by business type industry, personal business coming in. There's enough space north of Water Street that we can let private industry come in and help the community. We wanted to keep Main Street alive, and we can do that. But we're not going to keep the waterfront alive if we keep jumping everything in here and closing it in. It'll be back to where we were 40 years ago. So I'd just ask that you think about it long and hard before you make any decisions of putting other structures, letting business entities come in to the waterfront that is just there now. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your thoughtful comments. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say or bring up rather, for the council's edification? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment portion of our agenda, and with that, we have completed it. So, the Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so do.
All in favor, aye. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Hope to see you back here at the end of the month.